What about the city of Chennai? Akshaya Nath was out there on the streets of Chennai late into the night. She told us what's the situation. The biggest takeaway is that, yes, there's ample police presence all over the city street. A stark difference from our other reports. What we found in the city of Chennai is that it is largely safe for women to venture out because of the fact that cops are there constantly monitoring.
We are at Chennai's Perungudi, and this is an IT hub. And what we have been seeing here for the last 20 minutes of waiting here is that there hasn't been much activity. I have been waiting in this bus station for quite some time now. Only like 2 people stopped in between. One was an auto rickshaw driver, another was a two-wheeler person, and that man alone had made a U-turn and had tried coming on the other side of the road, but he did not make any step for communication. What we are trying to assess here today is the level of security for women in Chennai at this time of the hour. And what we can understand is that literally nobody has been caring to even ask why a woman has been sitting here alone. There has been a patrol vehicle of the police which has been away around 100 meters from here, and they have been using sirens every now and then, but nothing more than that relatively here. Sir? இல்ல கேப் வரதுக்காக வெயிட் பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தோம். ஆமா புக் பண்ணிருக்கோம். சார் டைம் வந்து 5 மினிட்ஸ்னு காட்டிட்டு இருந்தது. சாரி? இல்ல சார் பரவாயில்ல. நோ ப்ராப்ளம். சார் வருவாங்களா? நிச்சயமா வருவாங்க. At around 1 a.m. in the night, my camera person Daniel and I reached near the Adayar Tiruvanmiyur Cross Junction Road, and this is very close to the Tiruvanmiyur depot, a place which is almost active all the time through the day. And what we saw was that for the first 15 minutes there was not much of an activity, only a couple of auto rickshaw drivers stopping by to ask if I wanted a ride anywhere. And apart from that, around 15 minutes later we saw that a policeman in a two-wheeler drove up to me. He stopped to inquire if I needed any help, and he asked me why I was standing there. And it was later on a 5 minutes question answer session of a sort with the police official, who tried to reassure me that if there was in case of an emergency or a need, the police department was there to help. And he also said that there were multiple patrol systems available, and if there was any help that is needed from the police department side, they will be ready to help. So that was a welcoming move, and even now where we are standing, we're seeing that there is a patrolling team, there is a check post which has been created, and constantly vehicles which are coming here is being tested. So this is a security measure which has been put across Chennai city, and in multiple places my vehicle in which we were coming was also stopped to check what was happening. So at least in Chennai city right now, with the new year, we're seeing that a number of police officials on ground has increased, and in multiple places, yes, police checkpoints have been created and people have been on alert.
All the cities that our reporters filed reports from, filed ground status checks, we found that the city of Chennai was largely safer than the rest. And we'll get in an account from Akshaya Nath, who was there through the night from about 12 a.m. out there on the streets of the city. Akshaya, did you feel safe when you ventured out? I heard the conversation that you had with the cop. He was very polite, asked you how are you getting home, what are you waiting for, do you need any help at all? And that was very reassuring to see.
Well, yes, Akshita, like I was in multiple places last night between 12 a.m. and 3 a.m. And what we had generally seen is most of the general public had a no-care attitude. There were specific locations where, only in Perungudi, the IT hub station, did we find one two-wheeler person kind of like a stalker moving around. He came twice around that area, but he did not even dare to speak up. After that, when we were in Tiruvanmiyur, we had a very welcoming sign wherein this cop on duty came there, stood by me. He even asked if any kind of help was needed, if a drop in the patrolling vehicle was required. And when I inquired furthermore about if any woman walks out like this in the night, what kind of security measures are in place, he was talking about the list of action plan that the government has, the police department has briefed all these police officials. So he was talking about the multiple patrolling vehicles. And yes, indeed, we did see multiple patrolling vehicles in most of the important locality, most of the main roads. They were checking that was happening. Yes, it was an eerie feeling to stand on the road alone because you were the only person on the road at that point of time, and most of the other people were moving around were men. Some of them gave you dirty looks, dirty stares, but that did not have any kind of an intention where they would approach us, because the police presence was there evidently. So Chennai was relatively safe, and in fact even my colleague Pramod, when he had gone for this reality check, he had a very similar experience where he said that these patrolling vehicles were on duty almost in every important locality, which gave a vibe that
maybe
it was
other
safe
cities
for women to
and
venture
police
out.
forces can take notes from what's happened in Chennai. And someone who lived in Chennai, I'll tell you what is the biggest deterrent in the city of Chennai. It's that there is a serious fear of law. The reason we keep talking about the need for police to be out there on the streets to ensure constant patrolling, to ensure that nothing untoward takes place, is right here in the city of Chennai. You see what an effect it has on the ground, because it ensures that people, no matter what, don't resort to any sort of mishap, don't resort to any sort of these kind of acts with women on the ground, because of the active police presence and the clear fear of law in the city of Chennai. And that's what largely makes a difference in the city also, which is why when Akshaya ventured out, she didn't find any sort of bad behavior. Most people went about their own duty. You had cops reaching out to her on several occasions, going ahead and asking if you're okay, do you need any help? And in many cities, while we did see in some cases cops actually approaching the reporter and asking her if she needed any assistance at all, what we found is that the police force perhaps is the most active in the city of Chennai. In multiple locations, constant patrolling continuing.